All right, here we go. Let's keep this thing moving. We are looking at data mutations now, and let's see. We'll probably let's do data mutations and creating context. Maybe updating data in this video right here. We'll see how it goes. All right. So we'll create our first contact in a second, but first let's talk about HTML. Some of you probably already familiar with HTML. I know definitely those who uh, are under my tutelage at the Mississippi Coding Academy. You're very familiar with HTML. React Router emulates HTML form navigation as the data mutation primitive, which used to be the only way prior to the JavaScript Cambrian explosion. Don't be fooled by the simplicity. Forms in React Router give you the UX capabilities of client render apps with the simplicity of the old school web model. While unfamiliar to some web developers, HTML forms actually cause a navigation in the browser just like clicking a link. That's a great way of explaining that because I have not explained it that way, but it does act in the same way. Uh, well, it does cause navigation in the browser, meaning that when you click on the information, where you type in information in the form, you'll see a navigation in the browser with I guess, the name for the input and the value. Um, The only difference is in the request, links can only change the URL, while forms can also change the request method, get versus post, and the request body post form data. So that'll probably be like another video where we'll talk about uh, get and post requests. Anyways, without client side rendering, the browser will serialize the form's data automatically and send it to the server as the request body for post and as URL search params for get. This will make more sense uh, when I cover the back end. So we'll be able to look at that. What does that mean with the request body? Uh, React Router does the same thing, except instead of sending the request to the server, it uses client side routing and sends it to the route's action function. We can test this out by clicking the new button in our app. So if we come over here and we click new, right now we get an error, method not allowed, because we haven't set that up yet. So you see React Router sends it 405 because there is no code on the server to handle this form navigation. So what's going to happen when we click on new? What do we want to occur? Do we want well, I think what we want is we want a form to pop up that will allow us to do a new contact. Okay. So let's get into that in just a second. My live view is so awesome because like I just sit there and respond to text messages live. My work is never done. All right, anyways, here we go. So creating context. Now we're ready to do this. We'll create new context by exporting an action function in our root route. When the user clicks the new button, the form will post to the root route action. Export an action function to from app/root.tsx. So let's go to app/root.tsx. That is right here. Okay, and we're going to import create empty contact. Let's do that down here. Be the last one I got here. Import, and that is create empty contact. From data, that's over here. Create empty contact is this function right here. So you can see what it does. It contact gets await fake context dot create. So we're going to use the create method to create a new contact, which is going to go, it'll be listed down here at the bottom, if you will. It's not going to post, it's not going to display here inside of the data file. However, it is being added to the data. All right. And then we need to, let's say, export async function action. We'll do that right here. Export async function. I don't like to do it this way for that reason. Async function action. Okay. And what are we going to do? We're going to say contact gets await create empty contact. I'm going to get that object there, create empty contact. We'll call it method rather. And then return contact. And that's it for that. Okay, there we go. And that's it. Go ahead and click the new button. You should see a new record pop into the list. So let's check it out. I come over here, see nothing there, and I click new. And there it says no name. Cool. So a new record just popped up. Now we haven't added anything to it, but it popped up. There's a new record on the list. The create empty contact method just creates an empty contact with no name or data or anything, but it still does create a record. Oh, wait a second. How did the sidebar update? Where do we call the action function? Where's the code to refresh the data? Where are you state on submit user effect? Oh my goodness, what's going on? This is where the old school web programming model shows up. The form element prevents the browser from sending the request to the server and sends it to your route's action function instead with fetch. Ooh. In web semantics, a post usually means some data is changing. By convention, React Router uses this as a hint to automatically revalidate the data on the page after the action finishes. In fact, since it's all just HTML and HTTP, you could disable JavaScript and the whole thing will still work. Instead of React Router serializing the form and making a fetch request to your server, the browser will serialize the form and make a document request. From there, React Router will render the page server side and send it down. It's the same UI in the end either way. Read through that again if you want to. You have the link to this posted in the description. So let's keep moving. Updating data. That's what we're going to do. Let's add a way to fill the information for our new record. Just like creating data, you update data with the form element. Let's make this form component rather. Let's make a new route module inside app routes /edit contact.tsx. So we're going to create this new route and it's going in our routes folder. So app routes edit contact.tsx. Again, you can do it right here inside of Visual Code. You can go app routes and then create it right in there if you choose to do it that way. Or you could do like what I'm going to do. I'm going to handle it right inside of my terminal. So app / and we're using the touch command again. So touch app / routes and then edit contact tsx. Edit contact.tsx. And I mentioned before with Vite, which is what we're using. That is the front end tool to load up this application, this React Router application. With Vite, when you're creating React components, it wants you to use JSX, or what we're using here, TSX, which is just TypeScript JSX. And so that's why we have the issues with the types, where we get those big error, those squiggly lines letting us know, hey, there's an error here, because it's accepting any type when we want to be specific with types with TypeScript. Um, but we could change all of this from TSX to JSX as far as our components go, and it works just the same. And anywhere where you see the React icon, which looks like an atom, that's React. Okay, and this is all this stuff here, by the way. These icons. This is simply, um, if you want to, you don't have to do this, but you can add the extension. Where are you? You're way down here. VS Code / icons, and it's just icons for Visual Studio Code to help indicate what type of file it is. Um, if you want to add that extension, you can. Again, that's VS Code - icons. But yes, let's get back into this. All right. And don't forget to add the route to routes.ts, because I certainly would have forgotten to do that. Okay, so we need to add that route, routes / edit - contact. So that's going to go here. So let's go to our routes.ts file. And so, here we have all of our added routes. We have our routes context / contact ID that takes the routes contact.tsx. Okay. Now we're going to add a new one right below it. So I need to put a comma here. Route. And there's going to be contacts / contact ID / edit. So contacts / and then contact ID / edit. And that is going to, oh, no. Okay. Pass in routes. Let me do this. Let me clean this up. Okay. Routes / there's going to be edit contact.tsx. Yeah, edit - contact.tsx. There we go. There we go. So again, yeah, we add our routes here, and this is for the sidebar layout. Okay, so that's handling all of that. It's just, once you start to look at this more abstractly, it becomes wash, rinse, and repeat. It really does. And just remembering the certain steps. Okay, we add a new component or a new TSX file. Then we need to make sure that we add the route, and then we go ahead and create the UI for the component. And that's what we're doing here. So I'm going to just copy this for brevity. This is going in edit contact.tsx. So I'm just going to copy all this code right here. Again, I strongly recommend that you go and type this. I know you're probably not going to do it because I say to do it, and you want to do the short method as well. But if you really want to learn how to do this, you would take the time to type this information out. And the first 2, 3, 4 times I've done the React Router tutorial, I've typed it out line by line. I didn't go and copy and paste. And it helps me to understand. Obviously, I don't understand everything with it, but I do understand it. And let me clean this up. I do understand how it works. Now, could I go out there and build the same thing from scratch without the guide? Probably not. I'll be honest with you. No, I'd have to have a lot of coffee. Well, I don't drink coffee anymore, so I had to find something other than coffee. But yeah, my doctor told me not to drink coffee anymore. But I'd have to have something legal. Okay, uh, that would help me out with that. All right, so now we should have this form that pops up, and that's just what we created. That's what all of this is right here. This is just again the UI. So we're importing the form component from React Router. We got to import type and all that stuff. Uh, we're importing get contact because we're going to have to pass this into get contact, if you will. We got our loader, all this stuff there, and then edit contact, this component. And here we're going to return, you can see here the form component with all the props as well as the JSX code that's on the inside of it. Cool. Come over here. Let me refresh. If I click on new now, oh, now if I click on no name, okay, there we go. And now I guess some stuff pops up. Let me see. Did we get that right? Let's go back here to 5173. Let's refresh 5173. And what do we click on? Is it the edit button? I click on your new record, then click edit. Ah, okay, yeah. So if I come over here to our, and then we click on the edit button. Okay, so that's what we need to do. We click on the record here that's created, and then edit. Ah, there we go. And then there's the form. I don't think it works just yet because we haven't told it what to do. We haven't been able to update it, and that's where we are right here. So let's do that. Yeah, let's roll with this. Updating contacts with form data. The edit route we just created already renders a form. All we need to do is add the action function. React Router will serialize the form, post it with fetch, and automatically revalidate all the data. Add an action function to the edit route. Okay, so let's do that. We're in edit contact.tsx. So right here where we are. And we're going to add redirect right here along with the form component. So add redirect right there from React Router. Cool. And then we're going to import get contact and update contact. So we got get contact, and now we need to add update contact. Now the thing is with this, again, a lot of the methods here was already built, so we didn't have to go and write all this information up on our own. I want to say in the previous tutorials, I did have to go and write that stuff up as well, which is again why you want to write things line by line instead of just copy and paste, so that you can understand what you're doing. But again, this is our this is us learning React Router and how it works. So the focus, as you can see here, is a lot more on how do we import, export different files or different objects, destructuring objects, getting the things we need and putting the pieces together, not so much just building everything from scratch. Although, again, it's not a bad idea to do that. So anyways, so imported get contact and update contact, which is added update contact from the data file. And now we have to create the action. All right. And that's going to go right here above Edit contact, I'm going to put it above there. No, no, because all that is going to go above this loader. Yes, put that above the loader. Export async function. Action. I don't think it has an argument. Oh, it does. Params and requests. So let's add that in there. Let's add these arguments in. And that was what? Params, request, and matter of fact, I'm going to put all this on one line because it makes it a little bit easier for me to read and understand what's going on. And then route.action arguments. There we go. Okay, and now what do we want to do? Now you come over here, const form data. Const form data awaits, and I think it's request. Yeah, request.form data. So we're getting the form data from the request object. And again, for those who are enrolled in the academy, we will talk about requests and responses and what that means. Right now, we're just going to follow this tutorial, kind of working backwards a little bit with this, but we'll get it. So updates is going to be from object.from entries and pass in form data right there. Okay, so we're getting form data from the request. Const updates is going to be object.from entry from entries, meaning we're using the object constructor. Okay, and it's going to build out key values based on form data. And then we'll await. What will we await? Update contact. Update contact, and we're going to pass in params.contact ID. No, it shouldn't be there should be a comma. And updates. So look here at update contact, takes the ID and the updates, and that's what we're passing in. Okay. And then return, redirect, you'll use backticks contacts slash, and then pass in contact, I believe it's contact ID, params.contact ID, excuse me, params.contact ID. Okay, so now if you got this, and again, go through it, check your spelling, check your syntax, okay? Because what should happen now is right here, it says no name, okay? I'm going to put my name here, my Twitter handle. I'm gonna give my avatar. DJ Daddy Bug. Just gonna copy that. Copy image address. Paste it in there. And now when I hit save, Ta-da! It worked. Cool. And you can see it's added right there. So it worked. Success. Cool. We got a nice little contact, but still got other things to do, like, working with delete and everything. But the cool thing now is with using server side rendering, again, now all of these are pulled up. Oh, there we go. It's just taking a little time to load. But you can see that our dummy data is being pulled up from the data file and not hard coded into the contact object. We're pulling it from somewhere else, and that enables us to build out this form that we just did and dynamically add to this object here. So that's it for this video. We're gonna move along. So if you got, again, if it's not working for you, I will go back and check the syntax, check spelling. That's usually what the issues are. And yeah, make sure you're just adding each one of the lines. And yeah, we're moving now. We've got it. That's the big part right there. Good. Of course, there's a bunch of other stuff that we have to do. And we're rolling through it, but we'll continue that on the next lesson.